Oh, my mic was off. Sorry. All right. Let me know who you are if you're here. Say something. Um, Probably gonna do some talking. We're just gonna talk about there. We're just gonna talk about like just general trap and season prep stuff. Hunting, deer hunting. I know a lot of states are getting ready for that. We got ready for some of that today. We went up to my in-laws and worked on a new deer stand, and the girls helped out. It was a lot of fun. But no. Anybody got any questions? No. Well, some of you don't know me. I'll just go into that. I grew up in Northeast Missouri. I started trapping about 8 years ago, and started out just with dog proofs. I had a few coil springs, and like my second year in, I caught my first coyote, and it was a lot of fun. What's this camera doing? I need to adjust it. Is that better? It's kind of funky. Ooh. How's that? Is that better? I'm still ugly, but anyways, yeah, caught my first coyote. Then after that, I had the bug. You know, I did some water trapping, caught a couple otter that year. I think even a couple bobcat did pretty good. What else? Yeah, so I started trapping in Macon County, Missouri, and then we moved to Monroe County. That's where I trap now, is Monroe County, Missouri. I live in Paris, Missouri. But yep, I trap, I'm gonna say roughly anywhere between 1,100 to 1,000 acres I have available to me. I don't trap it all of it, every year. I kind of rotate some of that stuff out. Last year was kind of a bummer season. I got COVID right after the first year, so I had to quit early. Didn't feel very good, but I wasn't having the best season either. So, all right. Wow, we got 4 or 5 viewers. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna kind of cover some trapping dates here. If you live here in Missouri, you can trap raccoon right now. It's legal until it opened actually August 1st. It's a new change to the season. It opened August 1st, and then it closes the 15th of October. And then it opens back up what the regular season is, November 15th, and closes. Actually, we got extended the whole month of February. Well, yeah, the rest of January and all of February. So we can actually trap coyote, bobcat, and coon, possum until the 28th of February. I don't know about fox. I'll have to look at that real quick. Because fox used to end, like fox hunting always ended early here. It did in the past. I don't know if it's red fox and gray fox only goes from November 15th until the 31st of January. So it's kind of about where it was before. So if you catch any gray red fox in Missouri after the 31st, everything's catch and release. Deer season. Yeah, I gotta talk about deer season too. There's a lot of deer hunters in here. Our deer season opens. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. Where is it? Deer archery. Actually got a good archery season. I used to be an avid archery hunter for deer. Then I got into trapping. So, hold on. Getting a text. Somebody's got a question. Let's see. Hey, buddy Jimmy from Kansas City says he has to have a channel to chat, but he's watching. So, Jimmy's out there. Thanks for watching, Jimmy. Where was I? Oh, archery season. Yeah. It actually opens up in September here in Missouri. September 15th and runs till November 11th. And then it closes down there for, I think, right before gun season. I think gun season opens up the next day and runs until the 22nd of November. And then archery season runs from November 23rd until January 15th. So there's a huge archery season here in Missouri. And you can also shoot turkey with archery. I'm pretty sure turkey fall firearms. You used to get 2 turkey tags along with 2 deer tags. But let me check just so I'm not lying to you. Turkey. Oh, and fall turkey season for firearms is October 1st to October 30th or 31st. But yep. Duck season, I'm not going to cover duck season because I don't know nothing about it. Turkey archery, yeah. It's open September 15th, actually. It's the same as deer season, basically. Yeah, it is. It's exactly like same dates. Yeah, 31st on turkey fire fall arm. So we have a spring turkey season here in Missouri, and we have a fall season, which I don't think anybody really fall hunts that I know of. We need to, but because in the fall you can shoot a hen and let's see, what is it? I just got a question. Yeah, and in the fall you can shoot any turkey, a hen or a gobbler. You can shoot whatever, but in spring you can only shoot a gobbler. All right, Mercedes. My favorite animal. She wants to know what my favorite animal to trap is and why. Honestly, is coyotes is my favorite. I mean, I love bobcat. Don't get me wrong, but I specifically don't set a trap for bobcat. Every bobcat that I've ever caught, well, I can't lie. One set that I caught a bobcat in was strictly for bobcat. But everything else is just dirt holes, and I use predator baits. I mean, nothing really is like specifically bobcat lure or bobcat bait. It's all like coyote, fox, raccoon, or bobcat baits or lures. My favorite lure in the world is just like fox gland lures. I love fox gland lures. They're the funnest. To me, they don't stink as bad as like your Gusto, your Violator 7. I mean, I only really use that stuff when it's super cold out. But yeah, thanks for the question, Zadikins. Let's see. I did tan some stuff. I caught a skunk, first skunk ever that I caught last year. I tanned it, and it's actually done. I haven't brought it in the house yet. I don't think my wife will let me. So we got to have that discussion later. Maybe I'll just put it down here and see what she says. But yeah, traps. Man, there's a lot of traps out there. I run mostly, I'm going to say 99.5% run Duke traps. I ran a lot of other traps before. I used to run the MBs, but they were super expensive. And then Duke came out with their Pro 550, which is a lot like the MB 550. It was cheaper, worked just as good, and so man, nobody makes money trapping anymore, so that's just what we run. So, dog proofs, I usually just run Duke dog proofs. I've had the Bridgers before, I just didn't like them. They didn't seem like they held as well as the Dukes for what they were. I think they were pretty close in price, but I mean, if I'm just going to buy a trap, it's just going to be a Duke dog proof. So there's that. I was going to show you too, like your oil, your salmon oil or whatever. What I usually do is I'll get like a saline solution, a big saline solution container, and I'll put it in that. But you can't let it freeze; you'll never get it out of there. But that's what I use because they're no drip, and you can kind of fling them around pretty good. I do that with my urines when I do use urines. I don't use a whole lot. but they're pretty handy. They don't get there's not messy and it doesn't leak everywhere. Easy to refill. Baits and lures. Let's see. Favorite, like I said, my favorite bait is a fox gland lure. Let's see. My favorite bait is probably Trapping Time's back 40. That's a pretty good bait. Oh yeah, and if you want to go to trappingtimetv.com, you can pick up your own back 40. So now, actually, I'm affiliated with Robbie Gilbert and Trapping Time, so I mean I'm going to use their stuff, and I've had really good luck on it. The first year I used it, I bet it upped my catches by, man, I bet I doubled my catches just by using that stuff. So it's pretty good stuff. It's all quality. Man, you just message Robbie or message them at Trapping Time. They answer all your questions. If there's a mistake, they correct it. So that's who I use. Let's see. Any other questions? Just one. Hey, we got 4 viewers. We're racking it up. Uh-oh, Jimmy. There's Jimmy with a question. Jimmy's question is... Hold on. His question is, how do you release something if you don't want it or is out of season without getting bit? Jimmy, what I have is called a catch pole. And what it is, just a long pole that has a cable and a lock in it. It's got a loop, and you just put it around their head, and you have to hold it and hold the animal kind of away from you and use your feet. You can use your feet to open the jaws and kind of pull it out of the way. You do have to be careful that you don't, cinch it down really tight and cause damage to the animal around the neck. But usually you don't have any problems. I've caught some domestic dogs and let them out that way. But you can control them. Some people use like a tote. They cut a little notch out of a tote and put it like over the leg and the whole animal like a bobcat, and then have somebody else hold it down and then take the trap off their foot and then just release them. I guess you could do that with a skunk. I guess you're just taking your chances with a skunk. I dispatched mine because it was pretty skunk. I'd never caught one, so I dispatched it and it sprayed. So there's some people that use like injectors. I don't know anything about none of that. I never even thought about doing that. I just dispatch with a pistol. But yep, that's how you do it. I've only had to release. I usually keep everything that I catch. Usually, like a possum or something. Possum's easy. You can just usually like a possum, you just reach down and they don't bother you. Lay like if you don't want to hook them with the catch pole, you can lay the catch pole like on their arm and their neck and kind of hold your foot against it and just hold them down. Put a little bit of pressure on that and hold them down, and then take the trap off their foot. You can do that. I've done that before, like a possum. Yeah, that's what you do. Trapping. Like I said, our season opens up. What I say, the 15th of November. I'm not going to start until probably the Friday after Thanksgiving because our gun season will be over by then. And I've got one place that I can start that weekend. I've already talked to them. So we're going to start there. That's where I caught real mangy coyote. I think, was it last year before? Well, I caught a mangy one year before, and then I caught another one last year. Caught a little bobcat there. We're going to start there. Then we're going to move across the street, across the road, or down the road a little ways. We got some property there. I think it's 300 or 400 acres. 2 to 3. And then I picked up another 400 acres 400, 4.25, something like that. About 3 or 4 miles down the road. So first part of the season, I'm gonna be down there. Probably move my northern territories. Probably end of December, first of the year, and I've got a whole bunch up there I can trap. So, like I said, we're running until probably the very end of February, if everything holds out and I don't get sick again. So, no other questions? Mercedes, you got another question? Mercedes, my wife's cousin, so that's who Mercedes is. Hi, Mercedes. Does everything look and sound all right, Mercedes? I even forgot to ask. Oh, yeah, deer hunting. I forgot. Oh, Jimmy's wife, Donita, wants to know if I've ever trapped myself. Yes, I've actually trapped myself. This is a funny story. It was, I think, 3 winters ago. There was snow on. It was cold, and I had a hay bale. I was sitting right next to a hay bale for a fox, and I had like a little dirt hole set, and I got everything bedded and put in. Looked perfect, but there was this one little piece of peat moss, and it was like a twig. And for some reason, I took my finger and I stuck it right on that, and that was right where the pan was. And that thing went off, and I just sat there with my eyes closed, like, you idiot, what did you do? So I had to get my foot over there and my hand, and I finally got out, but I had to redo it. Yeah, I've trapped myself. I've actually got a video. A buddy of mine from St. Louis asked, hold on a second. There we go. A buddy of mine from St. Louis asked, man, he didn't understand how traps worked. And so I actually set a trap, and I videoed sticking my hand in it. And I showed him, you can wiggle your fingers, and it doesn't crush you. They just hold you there. And I explained that to him, and I actually made a YouTube short about it. And I think it got, I want to say, I think it got 4,000 or 5,000 views. So, yeah, go to my channel. I think you can view it on my channel if you want. But it doesn't. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it. Now you want to talk about a trap that hurts? Conibears. Those things are nasty. I don't even use those anymore. I used them first couple of years, and I guess I'm just a weakling because I couldn't set the springs on a 330 by hand. I had to use damn setters, and they just scare me. Man, they scare me. And I'm usually not scared of anything. But well, get your thinking cap on, Mercedes. I know you got a question about something. You're always talking. But no, we're probably going to run. What time is it? It's 10 till 6. Probably run an hour. So we got another 40 minutes. So let's see. Oh. On average, Mercedes got a question. On average, how many traps do I think I set in a season? Well, let's see. I only own, I want to say 24. Yeah, 24 footholds that I run consistently. So I'll set those. Depends on how many times I move. Let's see. Last year I moved 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I only moved 4 times last year. And the year before that, I moved 5, 6. So I usually try to keep at least 3 traps back. So if something gets messed up or broke, I can change it out real quick. So, 21 times 5, you're a smart girl. I'm not a math guy. Everybody knows that. So 100 something, yeah, I would say. So and that's very little. I mean, there's guys out here that, long liners, they'll set 100 a day. I don't know if they set those for coyote. They could. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I set dozen and a half in a day, and I'm freaking wore out. But yeah, I just can't. I just can't set that many. I mean, I probably could if I was forced to, or was on time constraints. But I full-time job, so I work, and then when I get off work, I usually check my traps with the job I have now. I get off work at 3:30, and I can be on my side by side running, checking the first trap in 30, by 4 o'clock. So, all right, Jimmy's got another question, and he says, "Are traps tagged like we do in fishing? And how often do you have to check?" That's an awesome question. So, yes, Jimmy, they are. The only thing required in Missouri is your conservation number on a weatherproof tag, just like the little brass tags we use. Those are the same. When I put them on a trout line and we go fishing in the spring, that's the same tag that I put on my traps. There is a fine if you forget to tag one and a conservation agent finds it, or comes across it or checks you. There is a fine. So I don't know what that fine is. I've never been fined for that because I tag all my traps because, I'm a law-abiding person. So, yeah, it's just a little brass tag. You can order them in bulk. I think you can get them. I don't even know who sells them, but I got a guy up at Millard, Missouri that makes all mine. I think they're like maybe $25 a 100. It's pretty reasonable. But yeah, they come with like a little, I call them like a hog ring crimp. You put on there and you crimp it down on the chain, or some people I wrap mine around the swivel so it doesn't come off, and usually that way the animal doesn't chew on them. Like coons are bad about chewing on trap tags if you don't have them wrapped around something, so they will chew the heck out of them. So yep, they do. Good question. Thanks, Jimmy. Oh, how often do you have to check? Everything on land is a 24-hour check. Water, I'm not real sure. I'm not a water trapper, but I think if it's like anything in the water, like a drowning rig or a conibear, I think you might have 48-hour check, but I'm not for sure. So don't quote me on that. But I don't water trap. I'm too big. It's too hard to work. And I'm bad at it. I did have a video where I trapped a beaver, and I think I missed it 3 times before I finally caught it. We did eat it, though. It was good. Let's see. What else? Oh, anchoring systems. There's a ton of anchoring systems. When I started, I just used rebar stakes. I made a whole bunch of rebar stakes. I had the double rebar. That's what I started with, and then I moved to wolf fangs. I got tired of packing, rebar stakes around, and they were hard to pull out. Like if the ground froze, it was hard to pull out. So I went to disposables, and I started with wolf fangs. And I use those up until, well, I still use them, but I'm slowly, as they get questionable, I'll change them out for super stakes. I'm running chain and some super stakes, some Fox Hollow super stakes this year. And I got to redo a bunch of those because I made the chains way too long, and they hold really good. You don't need 18 inches of chain for a super stake. That's what I had on my wolf fangs. And I could dig those up and pull them out pretty quick, but that's rough pulling out a super stake with, in the clay. We got a lot of clay here, especially if it's cold and froze. You're never gonna get them out. But that's why I like disposables. I can open an eyelet or S hook. I got a lot of my new stuff's S hooked. I can just pinch one side open and go from there. Oh, Mercedes, how do I get my traps ready? Well, I still have yet to do that. We may do that, I don't know, one of these days you're here. But every year, what I do is I boil them. I got a big drum, and I put some water, a little Dawn dish soap in there, and I got a fire pit, and I heat it up and boil them, and clean them off. I'll even get the power washer out, power wash them down. I don't dye my traps. I don't know why. I guess I'm lazy. But I spray paint mine. If I get new traps, I boil them, clean them up, get the oil off of them, and I just buy a can of Rust-Oleum brown and just shoot them. I'll do that about this time of year. Usually don't do it any later than the middle of October. And I got a fence out here in my backyard that I can hang them on, and I just leave them out there for a couple weeks, and so they don't smell like paint. You know, you gotta let that paint cure, and then after that, I open them up, set them, and I dip them in. I got some wax, and I dip them in the wax and let them set there a minute, and then take them out and hang them back on the fence for 2 or 3 days, and then I come back and set them off and make sure the wax is all over it and everything's waxed good. And that actually, what the wax does, it doesn't protect it so much, but it makes it lubricates it, makes everything work better, slick, quick. And the paint does. I mean, paint. People say that the paint, dogs can smell the paint. They might be able to, but my view is the coyotes also know you're there. I mean, you're tromping around in your, I'm tromping around in my work boots and stuff I've worn all day at work. I mean, they know you're there. If for one they don't smell you, they've probably seen you there. So I'm not a big scent control guy. I don't get wrapped around the axles about scent. I mean, I do, like, I don't spit, around my sets or none of that. I don't urinate around them, but I usually go off in the tree line if I'm going to do that, or spit out in the field somewhere. But that's how I get them ready. Off on a tangent about something else. But I'm ready. I'm ready for deer season. I know that. What about you, Mercedes? Are you going to go deer hunting this year? I heard you got a good spot if you want to go. How about you, Jimmy? I know you're going hunting. You usually crossbow hunt and gun hunt. And where's Clifford? Why isn't Clifford here? Send him a message. Call him up, Jimmy, and tell him to get on here and ask some questions. Oh, speaking of Jimmy, you all know Jimmy if you've watched my snagging video this year. Jimmy and his son went with us. So Mercedes not going. You're not going deer hunting, Mercedes. I'm disappointed. What kind of licensing do you need to trap? You just need a Missouri trapping license. You're a resident. Let's see. Seasons. Permits. I can't even tell you. I think it's $17 for a resident trapping license. I don't know because mine just reoccurring. It updates automatically. So I don't have to, because I'm pretty forgetful. But yep, just a Missouri. If you're not a resident, you have to buy a non-resident hunting or trapping license. I don't even know what those cost. $100 some probably if I know the state of Missouri. I don't know. I've always lived here, so I've never had an out of state. Never went anywhere out of state to trap. I know a lot of guys run to Iowa. I probably won't do that because I have a hard enough time covering what I got here. But all right. Oh, my trapping rig. Yeah, I started out with a trapping pack. Like the first year, I trapped on my uncle's place up in La Plata. That's where I started. And so I could just walk. It's like a 150-acre patch, and I used to run coyote dogs, and we'd always jumped coyotes down on the ditch on him. So I'd set traps down there, and I could just walk it. I think back then I had like a half a dozen traps, so I could pack 6 traps and a hammer and stakes, and I didn't use peat moss. I think I just sifted the dirt back over whatever I dug out. So, and caught a lot of possums that year. I think even caught a few rabbits on accident, but caught some birds. So, yeah, the first year was pretty disappointing, but I was learning. So then I bought a side by side. I had a Yamaha Rhino and the old tank, and so I used it for the first 6 years, I think, 5 or 6 years, and then finally talked my wife into letting me buy a bigger one. So I bought a 2020 Can-Am Defender, old big booty Judy. So that thing, I love that thing. It's like driving a car truck around. Gets around easy, and I can fit everything I need to in it. The only thing I wish I had was doors and a heater, but maybe one of these days when I get rich and famous. But yep, let's see. I think Mercedes, I think you should go trapping with me some weekend. You mean the girls can go? You mean Nightly? Let me know if you're interested, Mercedes. I can set that up. Oh man. What time is it? 6 o'clock. All right. Anybody else got any questions? I tell you what, if you can't comment on here, probably shouldn't do this, but you can. Oh, yeah. There's actually, Jimmy. You can just go to my YouTube page. It should be on there. I think there's a link. If you got any questions, you can text to that number, and I'll answer your questions on text. Let's see. Actually, there is. Yeah, Jimmy, I'll send Clifford the link. There we go. All right. Heck yeah. Anything else? Let's see. Temperatures. Yeah, it's pretty warm here today. I think it got 70, mid 70s, 75. So it got cold the other night. It was 46. It felt like it was 30 below. It's the football game at homecoming. I like to froze to death. And I usually don't get cold. But I did that night. Jimmy, you got a big one picked out? You usually get a pretty good deer. I wonder. Let me see this. Well, let's see. Did you guys see this deer my buddy Kylie got? This thing. Hold on, I'll pull it up for you and show you here in a second. This thing, let's see, where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to find my. How do I get to that? Where's my screen capture? Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice. How do I do that? Let's see. Is it? I'm gonna try something. Hold on. No, that's not it. Where's my capture? Is nope, that's not it. I don't know. I thought I could show you, but apparently I can't because I can't find my screen capture. Group. I'm new to this stuff. Alright, camera. All right, it's a nice one. If you haven't seen it, go to my Facebook page. You can see it on there. What we got here? How do I tan hides? No needs. Saw that. What did you saw? What did you see? No, not my OnlyFans. I haven't given that information out yet. Oh, how do I tan a hide? I used the Hunter Trapper's tan on the orange bottle. I think it says you can get like maybe one whole deer hide out of an orange bottle. Um, you have to salt. Of course, you have to when you get your hide, you have to scrape it, and then you don't have to dry it, but you have to scrape all the fat and membrane and flesh off your hide real good, and then you have to salt it down, and you salt it for a couple days, and then once you do that, then you clean it off, you rinse it off, and then you spread this tannin solution on it. Then you roll it up, and you have to leave it. I think it says it. Gosh, it was a year ago when I did it. I can't hardly remember, but the directions on the bottle. I think you got to leave it for a couple days, and then rinse it off, and then just hang it up, and it tans like within I think 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So Elmer Zadie has another question. What's your question, Zadie? No, is that you, Clifford? Clifford is my buddy Joe. Joe and I grew up together. Caused a lot of trouble. Um, he lives in Kansas City for now. I think he's got plans of doing something else in the near future, but we're still gonna go fishing. He hasn't gotten out of fishing, taking me fishing. I'll send you a text, Mercedes. Oh my gosh. Um, Hold on a second. I gotta put my food order in. The girls are gonna order food for supper. All right. So I got my food order in. Um, yeah, old Joe. Whew, we got in a lot of trouble back in the day. We got in less trouble than we should have. Let's just say that. But no, I'm excited for trapping season. I'm hoping it's a good year. I did get some new baits and lures ordered in, and so we got to get those put in the trapping bag. I got to make some wax dirt. I only used about 5 gallons last year, so need to make about 5 gallons more and replenish. Um, so wax dirt, man. If you guys don't use wax dirt or even know what wax dirt is, it's a game changer. I used to just strictly be either the dirt that I dug out of the hole, and then maybe some peat moss. And peat moss is good. Don't get me wrong, and it'll shed a little water, but when it rains hard, it'll eventually get soaked and it'll freeze, and then you've got this big round spot that's just crusted over. That I mean, even if coyote steps on us, trap's not going to go off. So I bed when it's gonna rain or freezing rain. I bed everything in wax dirt, and what it is you just take dry dirt and you heat it up in like an old pan on a propane, like a fish cooker, and you get it hot, and you take this little, it's called flake wax. You can buy it at a trapping store, and you just throw, I think it's, there's a formula for it. I think for every like 4 cups of dirt, it's a cup of flake wax. But I just, I usually go, I don't know, whatever it looks like, whatever dirt I got in there, I just throw a cup or two. I like mine to where my wax dirt looks dark, and then I slop it around, and that wax will melt on that dirt. And then when you put it out there, you can test it. You make a little pile of it and put a little dimple, in the pile, and pour water in it, and that water beads up just like it would, like on the wax, if you wax your car. It just beads up and will roll right off. So if it freezes, it usually puddles up or beads up, and it doesn't, all the dirt, moisture doesn't get down into the dirt, so it can freeze solid. And I've had some pretty nasty days that I've had some traps where I caught stuff, and I thought surely that I'm not going to. So, what do I use to dispatch? I bought it's a Rough Rider 22, a single 6. It's just 22. It's got a 22 mag cylinder with it, but that's what I use. I just pack it. I've packed it for, I don't know, I bought it 5-6 years ago, I think. So it's been a good gun. It looks like heck, but it needs cleaned. I'm horrible about cleaning my guns. I don't know why, but well, it's all right. Oh gosh, yep. I use that, and I've got I took an old Mercedes brother Bronson gave me just a plain old leather holster, and so I took it and took an old belt that I had and made like an over the body holster, so it's not around my waist and banging around. So, hey, hold on a second, I'll go get it. Come here. Alright, I don't know if you can see it. This is it. This is just an old leather holster, as you can see. Got an old belt, and I just throw it over my body. And then it sets right about here on my body. But yeah, it's just an old Heritage Rough Rider single action, single 6. Like I said, it's dirty, but it works good. I like it. And yes, it is unloaded. I checked before I brought it out. But yeah, pretty cool. I had, I don't remember. I think I used a 22 rifle the very first year. I used to have an old Ruger semi-automatic rifle. I think I used is what I used for dispatch most of the time. But I bought that, and it's beat up, but it's a trap gun. So that's what I use. I've got some people that say they want to go run my trap line with me. I got a good family friend of ours, Rachel. She told me she wants to trap a beaver, and I tried to talk her out of it. Yeah, because if you're a water trapper, man, more power to you. But I'm not trapping no dang beaver. I did once, so I made a bet with Rachel that if she caught 300 muskrats, that I would take her trapping for a beaver. So her fiance Aaron was shaking his head, and he was like, "No, no, no." So I loaned her a couple traps. I think I gave her a colony trap, and told her that if she only was only going to trap for a day or a month, she would have to catch 10 a day. So she said she was going to do it. So we're gonna hold her to that. So good luck, Rachel. I would probably start right around Thanksgiving. So, and then she's got muskrats, water trapping. I think it runs till, gosh, middle of, is it March? I think it is. But you know, your water stuff is better later than early. You know, I mean, I've never had a blue coyote at our season on the 15th. Otter muskrat, February 28th, Rachel. Now, your beaver trapping, it runs to March 31st. So, you've got till February 28th, Rachel, to catch your 300, starting on November 15th. And then once you catch your 300, then I'm sure I can find a beaver on the river out here. But, so, I think if we do go beaver trapping, we're going to try to do just some drowning rigs. I just do a caster mound on a drowning rig. That's 10 times easier than 330s. Ooh. I caught a couple otter, I think my second year. Yeah, it was my second year trapping. And I used 330s. It was on a little creek up north where I grew up. And it's called Bear Creek. And a buddy of mine let me trap on his land. And he's like, "Man, I've been seeing otter out here deer hunting." So I just walked it on his property. And it had this really, I mean, when I say narrow, I swear it was this wide. It was just wide enough to get a 330 set down in there where it was choked down. Some trees had washed together. So I put her in there. And man, you want to talk about nervous. I got a stick, and I take my safeties off, because once I got it set down in there and got the jaws under the water, that's back when you had to have the jaws completely submerged. And yeah, I flipped my safeties off and I checked it, and of course I come back I think the next day, because I check every day, and I took another stick and kind of knocked the ice off. I couldn't see, it was kind of iced over on top, and there it was, man. It was laying down there, and it was pretty neat. I'd never really, of course, I'd seen them, but had never caught one. But man, they were soft. I think I let my wife I made her touch it, feel the fur, and it's otter's nice. I'm really not going to talk about fur prices, because man, who knows? I did see Groenwald's fur report, and beaver's coming up. They said they'll take beaver, and they'll take coons. I think they said they would take everything but eastern coons. Western and from Missouri was kind of I think Illinois, Missouri was kind of the cutoff. Easterly, from Illinois, Missouri west, they were going to take. I don't know about the South. I don't know if they'll take those or not, but coyotes. We'll be lucky to sell a coyote, I think. My honest opinion. I don't think they'll take any, which is fine. I mean, I'll dry them out, and I'll skin them and dry them out and hang them in the garage. Might tan a few more. Bobcats, I think he said bobcats might improve, but who knows? I didn't sell any. I've got a couple hanging in the garage now, but that's what I'm waiting on. I mean, I'm not very picky on the money. If I can get a $12 to $15 price range on my coyotes, I'm gonna let them go. So, what is my my least favorite part about trapping? Not catching anything. I mean, it's work either way. I sit around all day at work because I have to drive past when I trap north of town, of course I have to drive to work in Shelbina. So I have to drive right through the middle of my trapping area. And I'm always looking, on each side of the road as I drive through there. Man, I wonder if there's one over there, and I slow down. But yeah, trapping's like Christmas morning. Every day you trap because you don't know what you're gonna get. Heck, one year I pulled up to a set and I knew there was something in there, but I couldn't tell what it was. It was moving, and it was a bobcat, and it was, almost the sun wasn't up yet. This is when I checked in the morning, and I didn't have to be at work until 8, and so I would get out, and yeah, it was rolling around, and I saw its eyes, but it was kind of hazy, foggy. It was, and it turned out to be a nice cat. So my least favorite part about trapping is usually when I don't catch nothing, or when I've caught something and it got away, like it pulled out. That's frustrating. That's probably my least favorite. Knowing you had something and either you did something wrong, you didn't set the trap, the right spacing, or it's not the animal. The animal's, is doing what it's doing. It's up to you to make sure everything's in the right, put in the right spot. And, some people just go out and make a hole and really don't measure, just kind of rough guesstimate. And man, I've seen people do that and hammer animals. Me, I'm pretty meticulous. I measure, I just use like my hand. Like here's the middle of the dirt hole, and then my thumb is usually over the center of my pan. That's how I do it. But I do it with my right hand because I'm left eye. I'm left-handed most of the time. Left eye dominant, so I offset to the left a couple inches. But, yep. Missing animals. Or, yeah. A pull out. But, let's see. I remember my wife was with me one time. I caught a bobcat. I got it mounted over here. And I didn't know we had anything. We was just driving up. And then you saw something just dart across. And really couldn't see it. And got up to it. And it was a nice bobcat. So, yep. I like coyotes. But bobcats are pretty fun to catch. Man, the last couple of years, coyotes are, pretty vocal. All the ones I caught before were pretty submissive. They didn't ever say nothing, but I've caught quite a few the last couple of years that were, pretty vocal. They're barking at you and howling, and that's fun when you get one that'll do that. It makes videoing for videos hard because they won't shut up, but yep. Let's see. I would say, oh yes, my least favorite part. I can tell you what my wife's least favorite part is, and that's the smells. She doesn't like, she doesn't like the smells of the lures, especially like the skunk stuff. So, yeah, you get to where you don't even smell that stuff. I mean, I don't anyways, but no. I should ask my wife what her. We'll text my wife and see what her least favorite part of my trapping is. Probably all the money I spend. Yeah, man, I hope gas goes down. That'd be nice. It's gonna stink putting that. What is it? 380 gas in this winter. But all right, we'll probably run it for about 5 more minutes. We'll do an hour the first time. I'm gonna try to every Sunday, even through trapping season. Depends on what I've got caught and what I've got to get cleaned up. But we'll go longer there. Oh, here we go. This is her answer. Smells and dead carcasses everywhere. Yeah. We usually pile them up. We usually get, I don't know, 3 or 4. Hey, Live More Outdoors is here. Saying I got a few minutes while my wife picks it. All right, good deal. Pick a good one out. But yeah, I'm new to this live streaming there. So this is my first one. I hope I do all right. But we got a few more. We got a few viewers. But yeah, we let our carcasses pile up, or I let the carcasses pile up. I mean, not huge. I might get like, I don't know, 4 coyotes and 3 or 4 coons in the tub, and then I'll haul them off and get rid of them. But, yep. And Mercedes, the smells. You're not wrong about the money thing. Yep. So, yeah, you're not going to make money trapping. You're probably not. I don't remember. I think one year I made money trapping. And that was, I think, my second year. I think I bought enough to buy Christmas. We made enough extra I could buy Christmas for my wife and my daughter. I only had one daughter back then. Yeah, Livermore likes the smells. I like the smells too. I mean, skunk doesn't even really stink that bad. So, so when you drive by, like in the summer, you drive and like somebody's hit a skunk, or in the fall or something, you smell that skunk. And I always take a big old deep breath, and everybody else is going, "Oh, that stinks, that stinks." I take a big old breath in. I was like, "Smells like trapping." But, yep. But, no, I'm ready for the cold weather. Like I said, it was high 70s today, mid-high 70s. And it got, like I said, got down to 46 Friday night at the football game. And I was about to froze out, but I wasn't dressed. I just had a t-shirt and a hoodie on. I usually have more clothes on, but all right. Well, guys, I think we're gonna call it there. My wife's gonna order me some Mexican from downtown. I appreciate everybody stopping in and chatting, and I'll plan on doing it again next Sunday. So spread the word, tell your friends. I may try to get somebody on here if I can figure it out, like a guest or something. I may just have to have them on my phone, call them or something, but I'm lucky I got this far with everything working correctly. But all right, hey, real quick, Livermore Outdoors, when does your trapping start? You're in Pennsylvania, I think. When does your trapping start? I think it's pretty quick, isn't it? But honey, I haven't watched your honey videos, so I know you said you got your last batch of honey coming on. I haven't watched it yet, but yep. Anywho, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for stopping in. Trapping starts October 22nd. Hey man, that's coming around, isn't it? Awesome. I look forward to your videos. If you guys don't know about Livermore Outdoors, he's from Pennsylvania. I started watching him, oh gosh, a long time ago. And he's got some good stuff. So if you want to check him out, his channel, he does a lot of coyote, fox. I think you catch a few coon, don't you? But you're mainly coyote and fox. Then you do some deer hunting, and he does bees, and I don't know, he's got a pretty cool trapping shed. So I love his trapping shed he's got out there. Got a wood stove in it. But all right, guys, I'm gonna jump off here. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. It was a ton of fun. I probably rambled on for an hour. And so if you jumped in and didn't know what the hell I was talking about, I'm sorry. We will see you next week. Probably 5:30 again next week. I'll post something on my Facebook page, on the Outdoor Asian Facebook page. I might do I don't know, I might do a short or something on YouTube and send that out. But don't forget to like the stream and hit that little sub button right down there in the bottom right corner. We have actually grown tremendously in the last 2 weeks. I think I went from like 100. We doubled our subs We went from, I think, 150 to 300. I want to say. Let me look real quick. Just by shorts. I started doing some shorts, but I ran out of clips to show, so that's why you haven't seen any. Yeah, it says right now 303 subs, so we're cooking right along. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in. God bless y'all, and oops. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.